start with, what is aphasia? Simply put, it's the loss of language skills. So someone who had normal speech and language skills, but they've lost that function due to damage of that part of the brain. So if someone has a stroke that affects the speech and language centers of their brain, which are in the left hemisphere for most people, this is when you'll see possibly aphasia, another speech and language deficit. So this is Broca's area right here. It's the part that's kind of highlighted here in purple. So in the left hemisphere of our brain, more towards the front. This is Broca's area, and this is actually the area that's responsible for motor speech. So this is the part of our brain that figures out what words we want to say and gets those words to our mouth so that we're able to actually produce a sentence. So damage to this specific part of the brain would be called Broca's aphasia, and this would result in very broken speech. You can remember Broca's aphasia, broken speech. So these are the people that are trying to get their words out and they can't. They're struggling to get the words out because the signal between this part of their brain and their mouth is damaged. Another speech and language area of the brain is called Wernicke's area. Let me find the highlight on that here. This is Wernicke's area, so it's also on the left hemisphere. Broca's is more towards the front, Wernicke's a little further back. And this is the language comprehension center in our brain. So this is, the meaning behind our words. So if there's damage here to Wernicke's area, here on the left side, this would actually affect our language comprehension. So these people that have damage exclusively to this part of their brain generally will be fluent. So unlike Broca's aphasia, they're able to get words out. The signal, getting the words to their mouth is fine, but the comprehension isn't there. The meaning behind the words isn't there. If they have damage to Wernicke's area, they may be fluent, so they're able to get the words out fluently and they sound clear and easily understood, but they don't make any sense. So like they might be wanting to ask for a drink and they might say cat, or just a completely random word comes out because that comprehension area of their brain is damaged. And on the flip side of that, they can have difficulty comprehending what you say to them because, again, language comprehension centers in the brain are damaged. So, while their speech doesn't make sense to you, it can be the same to them. So you may say something and to them, it just sounds like a foreign language. They hear you, but the language processing center of their brain is damaged and they can't comprehend what you're saying and take any kind of meaning out of that. So when both of these areas are damaged, so when both Broca's area and Wernicke's area are damaged, this is called global aphasia. So this is where a large portion of the left hemisphere is damaged from the stroke. And so these people are the most severe. And so in this case, you may have trouble speaking. You may have trouble understanding others, comprehending. Reading and writing can be affected. Written language is also processed in the language centers of our brain. So again, depending on what specific area of the brain is damaged, the symptoms can really vary. Aphasia can affect spoken speech. It can affect reading skills, writing skills, any aspect of language can be affected. But it's important to note that aphasia does not affect intelligence. So this is simply a language problem. So think of it like, if you go to a foreign country and you don't speak the language, it's not that you're not as smart as the people around you, you just don't understand them because you don't know that language. So for them, it's like the language that they speak has been wiped out, but intelligence is still there. So I think that's something important to realize as we're attempting to raise awareness of this. I always tell my patients I treat that have a stroke that, the good thing about a stroke is it happens and then it's done. So you can only get better. It's not like other progressive diseases. Other patients we work with that have other types of disorders get progressively worse over time, and you're dealing with compensating with that. But with a stroke, it's a static event. It happens, and then you don't get worse. You get better for the most part, always after that, assuming nothing else happens. But the stroke itself happens, and then you only get better. So there is a lot that can be done. And the cool thing is, our brain, due to neuroplasticity, even though each specific area of our brain has a specific function, other parts of the brain can make up for that if one area is damaged. So if the speech and language areas of the brain are damaged, another brain area can be retrained to kind of make up for that and take over those functions. So this is why therapy is important, especially early on, and you can actually retrain the brain to kind of produce speech and language in a little bit different area and kind of readjust for that. Also on our website, which is tulsasnr.com, and I'll write it down below in the description. We've got different handouts, like this one is on aphasia, because what is aphasia, and kind of talks about it. We've got videos, free printable handouts, and different things that you can find on our website, and lots of different resources there. I encourage you guys to check those out and really just help us spread the word this month of aphasia.